Hey guys, it's Carl from Horse Race Day, and this one will come up with a new top five contenders for 2024 Kentucky Derby. Louisiana Derby's over and done with. Catching Freedom won the race. That's 100-point prep race down in the books. And, for the next few weeks, we're going to have new top fives updated constantly. 100-point preps come in. And this is going to be a new addition to top five. And it's not going to be Catching Freedom. He's in the last top five. It's going to be a new horse. I've had time to watch some replays and stuff like that and watch other horses and really make me rethink of who to take out, who to put in. And coming in at number five is my Conquest Warrior, and he's going to replace Fiercest in my top five. And I kind of want to get out in front of this horse where everybody else does. And if you go back and watch his maiden one, he had all kind of trip trouble in that race, and he brought really bad leaving the starting gate, and probably got shuffled to 10+ lengths back at the start, and then he made that big move down the back stretch to get into contention. And if that horse would have fired a fourth or fifth place effort off that, he could have understood, running the trip trouble at the beginning and then making that big move. But not only did he make the move, he got stuck behind a wall of horses turning for home. And, normally at Gulfstream, if you come from off the pace, certain at least 6 or 7 lengths back once they start turning for home, you're really going to be up against it. And for Conquest Warrior to be able to, get stuck behind the wall of horses when he finally got out and clear was at Gulfstream, where he came from to win the race. You just don't win from there. It takes a really good horse to be able to do that. And he's trained by Shug McGahee. Still a lightly raced horse. I think it's his only 3 career lifetime starts. He's going to get his chance in Florida Derby, so he can do, at the get his points for the Kentucky Derby. And I think between him and Fierceness, these are one of these two horses that win the Florida Derby. And my big reason for taking Fierceness out was because, well, that good race, bad race effort, he fires a good race in the Florida Derby. Well, that puts him on par for the Kentucky Derby to fire the bad one. And I'm kind of looking for somebody that I think that has a chance to be a superstar that hasn't shown it yet. And I think Conquest Warrior could be that horse. So for him, that's number five. That's going to bring me number four. And number four is going to be Mystic Dan. And as I said in my previous video, I think he has a visually most impressive prep win so far when he beat Just Still in the Southwest Stakes. If you took any other trainer like Bob Baffert, Todd Pletcher, Chad Brown that would have ran the same effort with that horse, they'd be number one probably on everybody's board. And even though Kenny McPeek's won his share of races, I just don't feel like he gets that same level of respect sometimes. And it didn't help the Mystic Dan. This effort kind of came out of nowhere, as he definitely showed nothing of this ability. As a 2-year-old, he did run a high speed figure at one point, and then he kind of regressed. So, maybe he's starting to circle back and, starting to find his stride right at Derby time. And he's going to get his chance in the Arkansas Derby this week. And if he can repeat that same effort, then he's definitely going to vault at number one, number two on many people's boards. And Mystic Dance will come at number four for me right now. And number three is going to be Forever Young. And he's the winner of the Saudi Derby, and he beat Bookham Dano in that race. Bookham Dano won the Pasco Stakes by, I think, 12 lengths. And it looked like Bookham Dano was going to win the Saudi Derby, and Forever Young just kept grinding and grinding and grinding. And, he got there whenever it counted, and he was undefeated. He is a Japanese horse. It's one that seemed to be hearing a lot of buzz about. And I think, like I said in the last video, for a Japanese horse to win the Derby, I think it's take a combination of a good Japanese horse, but also a weak American crop of horses. And you already got Bob Baffert with horse. He's not going to have horse in the Derby like Nysos and some of them that could, potentially make it hard for a Japanese horse. And, that kind of weakens the American crop a little bit. And it seemed like some of the top American horses all kind of have a theme of being closers. It's really not that good, horse with a lot of tactical speed. And not saying Forever Young has the most, tactical speed. I can see him easily sit, mid pack to stalker. But, I think this is a horse that wants to go as the distance gets further. He's going to want to, go further. And, that certainly will help for the Derby. And if there's one thing to worry about is I think if he wins the UAE Derby, he's going to get really overbet for the Kentucky Derby. So if you're interested in that horse and you like him, I think now might be the time to go and put your future wager in. Is like I said, once he wins that UAE Derby, then that's just going to add more buzz to him, and the value is just not going to be there, if that makes sense. And the next horse on the list is Catching Freedom, and he's the winner of the Louisiana Derby. He ran a really good effort in that race. He got third in the Risen Star. He's trained by Brad Cox. I'm not a big fan of his running style of as it pertains to the Derby. Is he came from dead last to win the Louisiana Derby, and Yeah, he did a little bit of pace up front. I wouldn't say it was crawling, but Track Phantom definitely got pressed the whole time around the track. You got to put in a little bit of work, and that's certainly going to help a horse that likes to come from off the pace. And in the Derby, if you try to do that, there's a whole lot of traffic, a whole lot of bumping. Just it's real easy to not get the trip that you want. And if it was a 6 or 7 horse field, he'd probably beat a lot of the horses. But with a 20 horse field, I'm not sure how that's going to work. But he does got Brad Cox, who does have the Derby win with Mandaloon, even though Mandaloon didn't cross the wire first there. But I would like to see Brad Cox get his first Derby win, like when his horse actually crosses first, and I think that's coming real soon. But like I said, I'm not a fan of the running style, but he won the Louisiana Derby, and I think by him doing that, it's going to flatter the number one horse on my list, and that's Sierra Leone. And Sierra Leone won the Risen Star, trained by Chad Brown. And if you ever see Chad Brown's pattern when it comes to getting horses ready for the Derby, they fire their worst effort normally comes their first race as a 3-year-old, and by their second race, they're nice and tuned up. All the screws are tightened, and then by Derby time, they're ready to rock and roll. And even horse like Practical Joke that wanted no part of a mile and a quarter, and still got a 5th place finish with him. Got third with Zandon a couple years ago. Uh, got fourth. I want to say it was a Normandy Invasion, but if you watch the race, Normandy Invasion was looked like there for a minute. He was going to win the race that year, and it. I don't discount Chad Brown this time of year when it comes to trying to get a horse ready, and uh, I think Sierra Leone, if his Risen Star effort could beat a lot of these horses, I can't wait to see what he does in the bluegrass. And Sad Propel's going forward, and certainly I think he's going to be number one. I'd be kind of shocked if he lost at bluegrass and didn't stay number one. And for that, it's going to complete my top 5. And like I said, you got the Florida Derby and the Arkansas Derby this coming week, so things could change. And got a good week of racing. Like I said, all it takes is 1 week to vault somebody out the top 5 and somebody in. So that being said, it's top 5 for now. Thanks for watching, guys. Plenty more.